Lana helps me run multiple businesses, but she is our overall brand manager, which means that she actually manages me as the brand Adrienne Bailon Houghton. She manages Israel as the brand and the entity Israel. Then she runs XIXI, Lavoot, all things Adrienne and Israel and New Breed.
Why do I feel like we're missing something? I'm like, there's no way.
What's up, you guys? I love that you guys love hearing about how Lana and I built our businesses. So today I figured I'd pick Lana's brain because, guys, she is a genius business mastermind. So trust me, get your papers and your pens out. You're gonna wanna take notes. So Lana, kind of tell everybody what is the field that you came from and what you were doing career-wise before working with me.
I feel like I fell into everything that I've done accidentally. I never grew up and was like, I want to work with mortgages. Like, This is what I did prior to working with you. And I never grew up and said, I want to work in entertainment. If I'm being honest, my whole life, I really thought I was gonna go into like the law direction because
I can see that.
I was in like a law program in my high school and whatever, but I initially—
Kim Kardashian is about to be a lawyer. Anything is possible.
I mean, hey, Kim Kardashian is brilliant, but
Brilliant.
she started off as an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
So, hey, maybe I have a shot, you know? So I was in college and I was there for 3 days. I dropped out and was like, I'm coming back home. One of my neighbors was like, oh, my company's hiring. Do you want to be a customer service rep? I was a customer service rep for like a couple months. And then I just moved up into like that whole mortgage finance world. And then from there, you stole me. And that's.
But I think it's so important that everybody knows that even though Lana technically didn't go to school to become a brand manager or to be on my management team, your background in finance and mortgages has been so helpful to our businesses.
Well, I think for one, I know Israel did a lot of like the legwork for your home ownership, but I remember like reviewing the loan programs, and I remember one time someone offered her like a crazy term with like a low interest rate. And I was like, no matter what you do not sign this. So she ended up getting like a better rate and all of that. I think that's one thing that I've been helpful with. And then, the way I put a spreadsheet together, nobody is ready.
She is really great at coming up with these budget concepts and kind of figuring out how financially things work for us. Why do you think that you just have a great sense of like finances and figuring things out on a financial level?
On a more personal level, I feel like I've watched my family have it all and then lose it and then kind of like try to build back from it. Like my dad owned a gas station at some point, a liquor store, and then for you to kind of like end up living in low income housing and then seeing them struggle, and there was all this money on the table and somehow the next day you woke up and there was nothing there. So now I kind of manage the whole household and like anyone's household that I'm a part of.
I think growing up with really humble beginnings, I think there's something about that that tells you, what can I do differently so I don't end up in the same circumstances and in the same situations as my family members. So I think you do have like a keen sense of like, let me pay attention, let me wise up, let me do better than the generation that came before us. And I think that that's always the goal. And even our families, that's what they want to see. They want us to do better than them. And I feel like because we both grew up in immigrant families and, obviously there was a lot that they didn't know, but with the little that they did know, we took that and we ran.
Yeah.
For sure.
And I always say like my children will be so privileged for even having just someone that has a little bit of, I won't say sense, but like knowledge.
Yeah.
Because when you're an immigrant, you're like, well, I'm never gonna have this again, so and I'm like, no, that's not how it works.
Yeah.
Maybe you would be less of an immigrant if you started like accustoming to like what traditional Americans do, where you save your money, you invest in real estate like you, or like properties or whatever it may be. But yeah, I mean, I kind of learned from like what I didn't want to be.
She is everyone's financial ally. Literally, Lana and I feel like we bonded a lot in our friendship over being children of immigrants and the fact that like we were our parents' translators growing up. Like if my dad took me to school, I knew he couldn't communicate with my teacher, so I'd literally stand there and the teacher would be like, Adrienne has a project tomorrow. I'm like, papi, ella está diciendo que yo tengo un proyecto para mañana que tengo que, right? Like whatever. And you did the same thing with your family, and even furthermore with everyone in her community. So where Lana lives, it is a very close-knit Middle Eastern community.
Complex, yeah.
And
there used to be more of us, can you believe that?
Really?
It was like it has 80 units. It was like 60% Middle Easterns, and now
Shout
it's
out
like
to Hala.
Hala, Brahim, Auntie Yolanda, everybody lives there, yeah.
Everyone lives there, and everyone comes with their bill statements, debt collectors that they get in the mail. Like, they literally will bring their mail and the letters to Lana and be like, can you read this for me? Can you help me figure it out? And I love that she's really been a community financial ally. I trust Lana with all of my finances because she has access to it all, and she also handles it all. Let me put it this way, I trust her more than I trust myself. So I absolutely believe that Lana is my #1 financial ally, and I'm so grateful for her friendship and the fact that you are so trustworthy, and the fact that you would always look out for my best interest, and that you really have helped me. You know what I love that you do?
What?
Every time we talk about our end of year finances, do you know what you tell me?
What? I actually don't know.
You literally say, you're like, can you believe where you were a few years ago?
I know.
To where you are now?
Actually, I do say that. It's not like a copy and paste, but I realize I do say that. I like to give like, this is where we were, then we 10x'd it, then we 20x'd it, and we're 30x'ing it at some point, you know? I remember the first time we had a conversation of her being a homeowner, and I told her, log into your bank account. She was like, I don't have my login. I was like, so you spend money without...
I didn't have...
And she opened her bank account, and I said, girl, I don't know why you're looking at these properties. You need to wait a minute.
In general, when we look at my bank account, what it was and what it is now, is that from investing in my businesses?
Running and operating 2 companies has obviously made you a lot of net revenue. So that's one thing. And then the second thing is we kind of like gave you a separate personal bank account, because I don't think, because you weren't really looking at the accounts, you weren't realizing how much you were spending, where now you actually budget yourself and you're able to do all those things. Most of your money comes from your companies, obviously.
And I have to say, having someone that was able to help me figure out how to start a company, that's really how I've been able to change my world. I think really investing in myself and in my dreams is how I've been able to multiply my money. So we're now recognizing that the most money I've made has actually not been from TV and film. The most money I've ever made is from my businesses. And I recognize that investing in myself was the best decision I could have ever made. Like, Lana, explain how that works.
If you have enough money to spare to invest in yourself, like that money is going to just keep multiplying, because that money will make more money, then that money you're going to invest again and make more money. And that's essentially how we did with Lavoot. We really started off small with 5 or 4 handbag designs. And from that, it made money, and then we started the clothing, and the clothing was just the beast that I was not ready for.
She was not ready.
I didn't cry, but I was...
She did cry.
I cried when we launched.
I cried.
Because it was like, oh my God, I can't believe we sold out. That's what it was. But I didn't cry of the stress of it all until I landed in LA and was like, where do I start? Because it was
the fulfillment was insane.
I felt
we were not prepared
for a sellout.
For everything to sell out on the day we launched.
So I was just like, okay, like I have to take a step back and kind of reevaluate what we are able to do. But I mean, it made a lot of money that just continued the collections. And I mean, it's an extremely successful company. It's actually our most successful company.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because you know why? She has 100% ownership.
That part. What is one of the mistakes that you've made and that you've had to learn from?
I think because I'm like a little too kind. At one point, someone asked me to co-sign for them on a car, and I did that. And it was probably my biggest regret, because this person didn't care about me like I cared about them, and it actually kind of hurt my credit. And it was actually a family member. So the debt collector kept calling me every day, and I was like, first of all, I don't drive this kind of car. I forgot that I was a co-signer. And the address was obviously my address. And so the repossession company was like looking for the car. So I called the person and I was like, I said 2 words. I said 3 words. I said, I'm so disappointed. And I just hung up. And the person was like, I feel like the worst human being on earth. Like, you love me enough to like do this for me, blah, blah, blah. And then, I mean, within a couple days, that thing was paid. And I was like, thank you, God. But it hit the 30-day, 60-day mark on my credit. And you know, it doesn't report right away. So I like went about my life, whatever. I remember calling Adrienne and I was like, I can't believe this person did this to me.
Yeah.
And I was like, I will never do that again for anybody. Did I do it again? I feel like I did it again. I feel like I did do it again. I co-signed my mom's car, but come on, that's my
That's your
mother.
mom.
I would pay it if it was behind, you know?
Yeah.
Set clear goals. When it comes to budgeting, one size actually doesn't fit all. When you budget with objectives in mind, it makes spending or saving easier to bear. Know the details. Getting into the nitty-gritty of your finances can help clarify your spending and saving habits, and actually allows you to make adjustments or improvements as you go. And lastly, track your progress. Putting your budget into practice is where the real work comes in. Adrienne and I created templates for this because it is more efficient and actually helps us evaluate our spending and savings.
And then when I'm in situations where I feel like, oh, this is so much, I remember where I came from and where I started at and where I never want to return to. And I'm like, okay, I'm so grateful for this opportunity. It is a lot right now. You have to be a hustler and just figure it out. And I feel like we were born to like hustle and work and enjoy the labor of the fruit of our labor. The labor of our fruit.
I get to work with one of my best friends, and it's pretty awesome.
Doesn't
to
feel
see.
like work to me ever.
Especially like literally, if I'm doing stuff with you, it's so much fun, and it's just awesome to see our dreams come true together.
And be able to give our family opportunities that they haven't been able to experience, you know, because of their not having a financial ally, you know?
It's a big deal,
Yeah.
for sure. Thank you so much for watching this. I hope you guys got a few little gems here from Lana the Great. And I know that she has definitely been a financial ally to me. Comment below who is your financial ally. And don't forget to subscribe.
Comment below, hit the notification bell, do all that good stuff. I feel like a real YouTuber these days.
Love it.